Hello everyone, welcome back to COP.
I'm appointed by the UK and I work with Dr. Mohideen, who's appointed by the Egyptian presidency, but our mandate is to work globally, so we don't work for the countries.
Yeah.
And the way we do that is we work with hundreds of organisations who are working with businesses, with cities, with regions, with financial institutions. And we've created 3 tracks of work: the Race to Zero, which is getting thousands of businesses to commit in a science-based way to reducing their emissions; the Race to Resilience, which is about lives and livelihoods; and then we've created what I would call an architecture for implementation. So what do we have to do by 2030? In Glasgow, we launched the Breakthrough Agenda for Mitigation, and here in Sharm el-Sheikh, with COP President Shukri, we've launched the Sharm el-Sheikh Adaptation Agenda for implementation. And then we look at the collaboration between states, so governments, and those non-state actors. So, for example, just today we've been talking about the breakthrough on buildings, and this breakthrough agenda led by Morocco and France. And then we also have the World Green Building Council with cities and businesses and architects working from the non-state side, so they're encouraging each other. And then just now we've had the launch of the Accelerating to Zero Coalition. Again, companies, countries, cities, investors, all driving the rapid uptake of electric vehicles.
You just mentioned the breakthrough agenda, and it's clear from international collaboration is a key driver of progress to decarbonization. Can you explain what is exactly the breakthrough agenda that created last year?
Yeah, we created that last year.
And how it will be implemented this year after Sharm?
Well, so it's already being implemented. That's the good news.
That's great.
And what we did, we on the non-state actor side, we defined very specific goals, like green steel. We said we need 170 million tons of green steel production by 2030. And then what now nearly 50 countries have done is they've come together to say they will work together to make that green steel the cheapest form of steel everywhere in the world by 2030. So this gets around one of the technology transfer challenges. And if you take that example, we can now see 60 million tons of green steel projects in various stages of preparation, which is nearly a third of the way towards that future goal. And if you take electric vehicles, we're much further advanced because that technology's been growing. But there, globally, we have about 10% of sales are electric, but that's growing at 60% every year. And so what we're trying to do with the Breakthrough Agenda is drive that exponential change. And just as some of the practical things that governments are, by agreeing those goals, they make it less risky for investors. And by agreeing to buy, say, green steel or clean electric vehicles, they help to kickstart the market. So there's a lot of really good collaboration between countries and businesses like that.
So we've seen a lot of announcements from the non-state actors community here at the COP27. Do you feel that we are getting the right balance between decarbonization, adaptation, and finance action?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I would say historically, there's been much more emphasis on mitigation. And one of the things which the champions promised to the parties, to the countries last year, was that we would really work to mainstream adaptation and resilience. So that's why we're so excited to launch with the Egyptian presidency the Sharm el-Sheikh Adaptation Agenda. And the idea there is that that's really trying to balance out. So we have a breakthrough agenda for mitigation, Sharm el-Sheikh Adaptation Agenda for adaptation. But then with Dr. Mohideen, we've been working very much on how to mobilize finance, especially in emerging markets, which is where the adaptation challenge is the starkest.
So this week is your last as a high-level